Good evening, Coin Community, and welcome back to yet another episode of Coin Community Wednesdays. On tonight's stream, we will be introducing Turbo and Web3 adoption through meme coins. I think it's really interesting to see how we've all talked about meme coin supercycle and meme coins being a very trending and hot topic this bull run, this market cycle. And I think what's going to be interesting for a lot of people is that beneath the surface of all of these projects of these meme coins is that these meme coins are building communities. They're building projects that go beyond just what the average trader or average degen sees on their screens, on their portfolios. So I would like to, talk more about how meme coins are building out more Web3 infrastructure, more Web3 communities beyond just a visually appealing and very front-facing um, token that is very, I guess, friendly for the viewers and for the traders. Don't forget that every week we also take questions from the community. So GM also to all of our viewers from the Coins FB, X, and to the Turbo community, wherever you guys are watching from. Coins users, if you are watching the stream, do send in your community questions for Prof Toff, KT, and Cryptagalog. And if you win, you will be winning 1,000 Turbo tokens for sending in your questions for our panelists. Also, after the show, do share with the community your key AMA takeaway on X and what you learned most and learned best from the live stream tonight. If your question or if your takeaway and your highlights from the stream are chosen, we'll also be rewarding you with 2,000 turbo tokens sent straight to your coins wallet. So feel free to share the stream on FB, on X, and also share with the coin community what you learned from today's live stream on social media, and we'll be awarding you guys with turbo tokens sent straight to your wallet. Without further ado, I'd like to first introduce our panelists for tonight. So I guess right now we do have Prof. Toff on board with us for tonight. So Prof, good evening. How are you doing this fine Wednesday evening?
Good evening, coin community. Again, my name is Prof. Tof. Thank you for welcoming me, Jaffa. I am doing great. This is, Ash Wednesday for here Filipinos, but definitely the crypto market is bouncing back again. So, yeah, all good. Thank you for asking, Jaffa. Back to you.
So thank you so much for joining us again for another panel for coins. And I guess I'd also like to bring up on stage a community member from the Turbo community. So Katie, good evening. So glad you can join us for our live stream tonight. How are you doing?
Good evening. Good evening. All is well. Again, my name's KT from the Turbo community. And yeah, I'm glad to see that bounce too. So special thanks to you guys for having me at coins.ph and everyone for setting this up. We're going to have some fun today.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, really interesting to see. Like, I was reading up on the project on Turbo, and I guess I'd like to kick things off right off the bat. With our first question for you. So, Katie will be introducing Turbo to the community, and then I'll also be asking Prof. Toff and Cryptagalog, who will also be joining us a little later during the show, about their thoughts on Turbo and meme coins in the space, and then some questions for everyone on the panel. So, story time. Katie, I guess I'd like to start off with this question. So, can you share with the coin community and the viewers a brief history of Turbo and how it all started with just $69?
Yes, absolutely. And again, just before I start, I just want to give an extra thanks to all the people that were working in the background to establish this, the Roaring Toady, Torge, and all of these community members that are really helping to establish this so shout outs to you guys. Now the project, it was launched in April of 2023 by an Australian artist named Rhett Mankind, and he basically had a really just simple but an ambitious vision to start with $69. So initially Turbo was an Ethereum based ERC20 meme coin, and it was created with the help of AI, specifically the Chat GPT-4 version. And just after the initial creation, Rhett wanted to transfer the control of the project to the community because he just supports decentralization. So, but despite the modest beginnings. Turbo really got it quickly started gaining attention. People started writing. Elon Musk was putting like laughing for Turbo memes, and in just a few weeks, it really started to pick up. It reached a market cap of 200 million. It had a trading volume that surpassed like 267 million. And so yeah, today Turbo is basically blown up. It is listed on over 120 exchanges: Binance, Coinbase, KuCoin, Kraken, of course, coins.ph. It's probably easier to name the ones that it's not on. There's so many of them. But one of the unique aspects about Turbo was the whole creation and the incorporation with artificial intelligence. And this was made. It was because Rhett, he kind of lacked the coding knowledge and all that, so he really relied on the GPT-4 to generate the codes and to help assist with all of that. So with the chat GPT stuff and then the assistance from the Twitter and the X community, they basically overcame these challenges from the initial launch. And we had obstacles. We did have obstacles in the beginning. There was like malicious bots that were trying to seize tokens and just some setbacks that almost ended the project. But the community basically just gathered around. They said, keep fighting, stay strong, and just encouraged by all the feedback and getting some further guidance from GPT-4. Rhett basically shifted the approach to more of a crowdfunding, and he allowed investors to like exchange funds for tokens, and that really helped the project regain the momentum and grow. So yeah, the community is endured through the fire. We weathered the storm. We see all these ups and downs, and we are unfazed.
Awesome. Katie, thank you so much. I think it's so cool that you have AI to start things off and a small like amount of liquidity. It's really the community that comes together to grow something. So I guess because meme coins are very heavily oriented on community, people might be wondering, well, how does a community and a meme coin especially, kind of grow out this ecosystem? And if they check out the Turbo website, they'll see that there are all kinds of collaborations, all kinds of projects being built. So I guess my next question for you, Katie, is how do you balance the meme coin culture while also building a serious ecosystem?
Awesome. Really good question. So the foundation of Turbo, obviously it started as a meme coin, and we really embraced the fun, the community driven aspects and all of that energy that comes with it. But we just want we also understand that we wanted to have like a lasting value effect, right? Not just be a meme. So the project wanted to evolve and go beyond just the whole meme aspect. So we're working to balance that kind of fun stuff. You got the memes and like the just the fun stuff with also solid and a creative ecosystem. So we're just a group of users and helpers who really care about doing the right thing in Web3 and trying to develop this into a sophisticated manner. And so all of our partnerships, they're really intentionally formed with this in mind, and that utility driven projects, just people that offer some type of real world use cases and or contribute positively in the Web3 ecosystem. So, and that just really just is like a liability, right? So it ensures that Turbo isn't just going to be a meme, and the project can still attract those that are like people that are looking for some kind of genuine innovation or some kind of other fundamental value. So our volunteer team, they're excellent with this. They are a huge part of this, and they basically check out every like potential partner just to make sure that they're legit and make sure that they're positive, that they bring something good to Turbo and to the Web3 space. And so just by combining the exciting, fun elements of the meme coin with also something that is more serious and utility based development, we're trying to lay the foundation for Turbo to thrive both like culturally but also technologically.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. And I guess a quick shout out because I'm seeing some viewers on X. So Crete GMing says turbo. And of course, we also have, I see here, roaring Toady. Toady, nice to see you. Full turbo power. So thank you so much to the turbo community for showing up. I'll be shouting you guys out as well. So welcome to the Coin stream, to Coin Community Wednesdays, and to all of our 250 plus viewers so far, 15 minutes into the show. All right. So I guess my next question for you, Katie, is so how has the Turbo community contributed to its growth and success? And feel free to shout out some of your key community members as well from the Turbo community.
Oh yes. Man, the Turbo community is absolutely amazing. I have never seen so much creativity. I mean, these people, they come up with songs. They come if you give them a little bit, they'll have a movie ready, right? So the Turbo community is definitely the heart of the project's rise. It's and right from the start, everyone basically just, bought into the vision. We trusted each other. We believed that, we could do something bigger, and that belief just started to turn into action. Lots of little choices that people were making in the beginning, it didn't really seem like it would be much at the time, but it all added up to some real success. So yeah, we definitely built this community by showing up every single day, and we just have a goal to make Turbo the best that we can possibly make it. And so everyone's got something to bring to the table, just whatever your strong points are, and we just basically try to make sure that everyone has a way to share that. So what's special about Turbo is, again, just how open and creative we are. You see all these people here, they always will keep supporting and showing up. So you'll take a crazy idea, like someone suggesting, for example, like a turbo toad food truck, and it sounds crazy, but with the right type of vibe and the teamwork, it could definitely turn into something that's fun and engaging way, something that stands out, and it spreads in the world, and it can connect with real life people. So it's not just about people who are like holding the token, but we see exchanges, partners, all of these community members that are here and that continue to show up. They're part of the family too. So just together, we're just trying to grow something bigger, spark some new ideas, and just taking Turbo to places that like we didn't initially imagine.
Awesome. Yeah, a food truck sounds pretty amazing. And I guess some quick question. So I see your shirt, right? So Katie, what's Turbo Day?
So Turbo Day was it was an initiative, a community initiative where we got together. It is on the September 6th, and basically we last year we got the Roaring Toady. I think he was the one who initially set it up, and again, we have votes for all of this stuff. So if you really want a voice and a say and where a project could go, Turbo is basically like the pinnacle of it. And but anyways, I digress. Turbo Day is absolutely fun. We have giveaways, we do all kinds of initiatives, and we have competitions, we have polls, and really it's just a way to engage more with the community and to show people that are on socials like X or Insta or whatever it is that we're active, and we're gonna so that's just one day, and we're gonna continue to keep making more and more community driven ideas and collaborate and more.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing so much about Turbo Day. That's pretty cool. September 6th. So maybe the community can also check that out and see what kind of initiatives we'll be cooking, 6 months from now. So with that, so thanks for sharing about Turbo Day, Katie. And I guess my last question for this segment would be, so what's the biggest milestone coming up for Turbo that everyone should be excited for?
So we do have a lot of big projects that are coming down the pipeline. We are going to be announcing some stuff over the coming months. So I don't want to say too much, but one of the biggest milestones so far was the launch of our own blockchain. So that is monumental. That is the Turbo chain. This is a significant step for Turbo because it allows community members and companies and partners to build. They can deploy directly on the Turbo chain, and it has a deflationary mechanism, so that's awesome. And we're working really closely with Open Format, Aurora, Near Protocol, and just different partnerships that have played a key role in getting us to where we need to be with Turbo chain. And it's really just thanks to all of these collaborations that we're being able to take this decentralization to more of the community to other people and empower everyone to participate in different ways and get engaged. So, as we keep growing, Turbo Chain is going to definitely be a key to the big, a key piece of this puzzle, and just sparking new ideas, opening doors for the community. And again, this is just the start. We do have some awesome stuff developing, but for now, that's all I'll say. Just stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled for more.
Awesome. Yeah, Turbo Change sounds huge, and you said you have Near and Aurora, and these are big names also that I'm sure if you've been in this space, you'd also be familiar with. So really interesting to see the things that the community builds on top of your chain. So for our next segment, Katie, thank you very much, and I guess I'd just like to replug, I guess, to our coin community people who are joining in for the stream. So shout out to everyone who is sharing our stream. Drop a GM also in our chat. I'd also like to remind everyone that we will be taking some community questions later. If your question is chosen from the coins users, you'll be receiving 1,000 turbo tokens. And also, do share with us your key takeaway from the stream, because I think it's always interesting for people to hear about what are the meme coins building beneath the surface. So share with us your AMA takeaways on an X and tag coins.ph. And if we like your submission, you'll be receiving 2,000 turbo tokens as well for your key takeaways from tonight's discussion with Katie, Prof. Toff, and Cryptogalog, who I hope can join us soon. So for our next segment, Prof. Toff, I would like to ask you some questions as well. So first and foremost, Prof, this one I guess I'd like to ask because I think a lot of people might not take meme coins seriously, right? It takes a while for them to gain legitimacy and brand trust. So meme coins often start as jokes, but sometimes they evolve into something much bigger. Do you think this is a trend that we'll see more of?
Well, on the positive side, it is a trend at the moment. Though for the long term, I think it requires more than just a community of supporters and being able to just start off as a joke or a meme, as they say. Because being a bigger project, it requires, of course, communities that have like mindedness at some point. Because just like what KT said, they had to make decisions and it would be for the community. So if these people in the community are the bigger person, they want to put the community first out there, whether it started as a joke, as a meme, or even if they know what this is an eggplant, but it serves as a joke for here in the Philippines. But you know what it is? If there's so much clamor and support for it, it could definitely go just beyond as a trend. But human nature is and the economy, I mean, greed and fear tends to take over for some, so it is something that's very challenging. But given it is a trend, it will not work for everyone or for every other project, but definitely there will be projects that will start off as that and will develop. Well, we've seen Doge, we've seen Shib, we've seen other IPs as well, especially known ones like Pepe and the other ones. Turbo is also one of them. So it would really depend on the community rather than just being a trend. So if people truly support it, it would definitely be something that we will be seeing more often in the future. Back to you.
Awesome. And Cryptogalog will, just joined in on the stream. So perfect timing for us to get his insight as well. So Cryptogalog, good evening, sir. And yes, thank you so much for joining us. Glad to have you in for our discussion for tonight. So I guess the first question for our guest panelists as well, I'd also like to get your insights on what you think, about meme coins starting as a joke, but then sometimes they evolve their projects into something much bigger. Do you think this is a trend we'll see more of, in crypto and Web3?
Well, my take for this one, if you will be asking me, the very tenet of having a coin or a token inside Web3 or in the blockchain, for example, is creating or community building. And basically, while most of the time, there are some communities that are built around a serious matter, but apparently, when we talk about meme coins, it started as a joke. It started as a not so serious. And knowing that, well, let's use a micro focus on the Philippines, for example. We know for a fact that we're one of the happiest people on earth, and we love to joke around. So if we started a community of about a joke, and this community think deeper, of course we're not trying to we're not trying to force them not to be so serious or not to be serious. It will evolve. My answer to this is that it depends on the community, and I think with the recent fad, with the recent trend that we've had, it's becoming a trend. They started the community for fun. Most of the community started for fun, or it's a joke, and then apparently they try to evolve it into something more serious or deeper as the time goes by, as they see it necessary, as the community sees it necessary. So I hope that makes sense to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sir Cryptagalog. Yes, and similar to what the both of you guys said, yeah, we Filipinos, we are very like joking, happy people. But in Web3, it's really the strength of a community that will push the development of something as they try to go deeper. So I guess, Prof, I have another question for you and Sir Cryptagalog. So the next question I have is, so you guys have been in the game for a while. So, what's the biggest challenge for a project that starts as a trend and tries to build a legitimate ecosystem? So, Prof, I'd like to ask you the question.
Biggest challenge for a project that starts as a trend and tries to build a legitimate ecosystem. If there's any challenge in these, it's number one, community building. Because if it started as a joke or something like a meme, there are serious people with money who would, of course, tend to find or nitpick something that will not make it work. If you're trying to get funding, if you're trying to get support, either it will come from your community, from the founders, but definitely if you need to grow and build a legitimate ecosystem, you're going to need funding. And if it's going to be a global funding, Web3 enables it, which is why decentralized is a good thing. So probably the biggest hurdle here is letting these investors know that this is a legitimate ecosystem and having them to say yes to you so that you can build the roadmap, you can build the project, the dream project of your community, and definitely after building it, sustaining it for quite a long time or for the period that you want it to actually, flourish. So for me, that is the biggest challenge because as Web3 actually matures, investors are getting smarter and even communities growing have that sense of a challenge. And like what, Cryptagalog also mentioned, the community. That is one of the major strengths that has to be really solid. It's not just social media following. It's not just the people involved in it, the supporters, the big names. It's more of the solidity or unity at as some may call it, but definitely challenges will arise, but it will always start with funding because building something requires funding. Second would be commitment. Anything that you need to build from the ground up requires people to stay. And if things go hard or rough, or of course, if the boat is shaking, not everyone is willing to stay. So we definitely have to have a good team for this, which is definitely a challenge for any team building something big, especially in Web3, which is a global ecosystem of projects. So maybe Cryptogalo can also add into that because he mentioned a few key points earlier.
Oh, thank you, Prof. Top, about for giving me the throwing that the ball to me. So about this one, the biggest challenge for a project that starts as a trend and tries to build a legitimate ecosystem. Let's take for example the very popular meme token, probably the most popular of all time, I would say. O baka might be just me. But if we remember Dogecoin, right? Dogecoin is a meme token that in the hands of Elon Musk and his team, they're trying to build an ecosystem around it. Apparently, that was too long ago. I mean, like, imagine Elon Musk expressed the seriousness of his intention about this meme token, but apparently up to date, while there is some traction, there are some tractions. there are some developments, and it's not just about having the money. I guess more than the money, it's the acceptability of the community. You see, Dogecoin, the money is there. I doubt if the money is not there. That's Elon Musk, the muscle behind that. But and yet, the community still fails to actually acknowledge. They do try to play around their head with the idea. I myself does that Dogecoin can be something else, but apparently, I still as a trader, for example, I still see Dogecoin as a meme coin despite the developments they're trying to do around it. So that's one of the biggest challenge. So while there are some meme coins that were successful in building their ecosystems more seriously. Since we started as a meme, some of them started as a meme coin. People tend to not really take it seriously. It's the biggest challenge. There you go.
Awesome. Yep, Tagalog, thank you so much. And yeah, I guess it's really about going beyond the stigma or like, the stereotype of not being
Yeah.
taken seriously. And that's the evolution that we're seeing with, meme coins now that, admittedly, it's been tough for a lot of them. So one more question for the both of you. And yeah, I guess this one is good to bounce off. So we talked about the challenges, but um, yeah, so from your perspective, so Prof and Cryptagalog, what's the biggest challenge for these projects? Moving beyond speculation into mainstream adoption, and we're talking IP. So I think it's really important to see how do we escape the bubble that is just the crypto users. So, Prof, how about you?
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah. When it comes to IP and the community, I guess the biggest challenge for this is number one, use case. If you're gonna build anything, real world use cases, it's the top of everything. If people are gonna use it, the market will decide if it's gonna be something valuable or something that will just stay at a certain price point. So having people to use something that started from like, do you want Doge to become a currency? Like, what is it going to be used for, or what kind of services is it going to pay for? I'm just setting that as an example, bouncing off the discussion made by Cryptagalog as well. So it will heavily depend on the community. If there are so much of a strong community globally, definitely it will move beyond the speculation because it has that similar, it's a cult like following that define that this will be its value, and they're willing to put money, time, and effort to make it happen. Mainstream adoption, on the other hand, it would definitely be on the scales whether the use case is really something that's timely, and at the same time, is it something really on point for whatever the use case is, if it's for gaming, if it's for services or products. And definitely those are the major points for you to actually use a currency, products or service, or something that you trade within a community, and it sets its value fluctuating between the demand, between the use case, whether it's for gaming, whether it's for farming resources, or actually paying for it to avail of X deals or deals within the community. So mainstream, it would heavily depend on which cultures you are tapping into, and it's very very hard in a global economy to actually have everyone go into it. Like, I would say, like, in the past years, if you're into film, media, or entertainment, I'll just have this as an example. If entertainment was really into crypto early on, we would start with telenovelas with Spain early in the 90s, because those are the trend. And then it gradually shifted to America, and then it shifted right now to Korea. So if it's going to be something that shifts, it's going to be limited to time, specifically into mainstream adoption. But I think our dear friend there, the Cryptagalog, will definitely have better insights or probably more into that as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And quick shout out. Oh my goodness, we're almost at 700 viewers for tonight. So shout out to everyone who's joining us. So many of you guys are showing up for this
GM
awesome
GM.
GM, drop a GM. So Cryptagalog, what do you think is the biggest challenge you're seeing to projects, moving into more mainstream adoption?
Yeah, I actually agree with what Prof Top mentioned earlier about the use cases, and to support that, actually, the aside from the use cases are dependent on what type of utility are being made around a project. For example, this is where this is where it's related to your earlier questions about meme coins being taken seriously by people. Now, apparently, when developers develop, they usually look at, well, I'm guilty as charged as well personally. We look at the utility on a technical perspective. We look at the utility mostly on the, um how the tokenomics, the technology behind. We fail to actually see how people see it, and how they think about it, and how they can use it in their daily lives. Let's take for example, because well, just shout out to my mentor in the technology sphere, both Web 2 and Web 3. He mentioned to me before, and he's still saying that to me, reverberating in my head right now, that a technology, however beautiful it is, you will know that it's already adopted, or it's already accepted by the general public when they don't talk about the technology itself. They just use it. Let's talk about internet, for example. Who talks about internet now? No one, but we're using it. Everyone is using it now. When we stop talking about Web3 and we just say that it's an application, whatever application that is, maybe it's let's say, well, shameless plug, will be doing a unboxing for a vape to earn project. Let's say that, for example, we don't need to say it's Web3. This is vape to earn. It's vape to earn. Vape to earn. We try to help people who wanted to quit smoking, who wanted to quit vaping with nicotine. And with that, we're paying you points, tokens. It's convertible to possible cash. So it's Wave to earn. So we don't need to say it's Web3. Now, that's the point. When the biggest challenge, and going back to the question, the biggest challenge is, what use case is, one, necessary, two, palatable to the public, the general public, and three, with true and real utility. Now, again, I have nothing against meme coins doing meme coining. You know what I mean? I have nothing against meme coins, meme coining, but I have a lot of things against meme coins trying to portray otherwise. That's the word. The rug pullers, of course. Let's face it. So they're not meme coins. They're trying to portray their this and that. These guys actually give a bad rap to those who are seriously developing around Web3. So that's the biggest challenge. Now, if we wanted to move beyond speculation and go into mainstream adoption, we should focus on utility. Again, Prof. Top already mentioned, we focus on community building. So yeah, let's go back to the vape to earn a little, the one that I'm shamelessly plugging a while ago. What do we are we trying to address a problem with that one? Yes, we are. We see, is there a community that can be adopted, or that can actually have a good use for this particular for this particular ecosystem? Yes, there is. So now that's the challenge. There are some serious developers that are trying to make these projects fly, but of course there are still a lot of developers who are, or not necessarily developers, but builders who are there for the money grab. So that's a challenge. That's a very, very big challenge. So I hope I make sense. Thank you, guys.
Cryptogallo, thank you so much. Great answer. Yeah, I think we all agree that the people who are more value extractive, they hurt the space more than gain good attention to it. So you should continue to support and build community around those that really try to add value to builders in the space. So thank you for that. And I guess I'd like to bounce the microphone back to Katie for our round of questions for all of our guests. So Katie, let me ask you, so your perspective too, do you think meme coins are evolving beyond speculation, or do you think most will still be hype driven in the long run?
So I just want to say I definitely agree with the whole money grab stuff. That is something that needs to be addressed as fast as possible. But from my perspective, the biggest challenge for Web3 projects is kind of moving beyond that whole speculation and bridging the gap between something that's actually an innovative technology and something that's an everyday like usability. So many projects, they have really good ideas. It might be a cute, it might be groundbreaking idea, but until it can clearly like address a real world problem, they usually tend to just remain trapped in that kind of realm of like hype, and it's usually a short term type of trading thing. But to truly kind of get into that mainstream, Web3 projects are definitely going to have to, like I said, I agree, deliver some tangible utilities. You have to be able to offer something that's practical, a practical benefit, something that resonates with everyday users, whether that's security, whether it's something that it's a finance solution, whether it's a real world application. Also, we have to be able to simplify the user experience, because there's, it's we're already into this space, so we kind of take it for granted. But overcoming that steep learning curve that's associated with the whole blockchain technology and just making it more user friendly. It was funny, I had a conversation just the other day, and there was a guy, he was like, I want to buy Bitcoin, but I don't have enough. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, I don't have like the $90,000 to buy one. And he didn't understand that you can buy fractional proportions. So guys, I know that we all say this, but we are early, right? There's some people that are still figuring out how all of this stuff works. And that's another thing. We have to build trust. We have to build transparency. We have to educate people in the public so that we can establish some kind of credibility and actually deliver on your promises. Don't rug pull. When you tell someone you're going to do something, actually engage openly with the community and get it done. So ultimately, I think it is about just turning that whole speculative nature into something that is more sustainable, and that is going to be a real world solution. And that is going to be what's going to break them out into the mainstream.
Katie, thank you so much. And Prof, I guess I'd like to ask for your quick jab at this question. So are we evolving beyond speculation or still hype driven long term?
Well, until the market matures, I think it's going to be hype driven for now. We have to have a mature market that really knows how to build and, not be driven by fear or greed. I mean, we can go so far, but it depends on how we handle things as human beings or communities moving forward as, part of the Web3 ecosystem. That's the short answer.
Crypto how about you?
Yeah, as for my part, I agree with Prof Top regarding this. For the meantime, meme coins will be meme coining. But if you're asking if they're evolving, evolution is slow, right? So I would say, yeah, it is somehow. But if we are seeing it soon, I think it's not soon to find out. We will see. We will see as it goes along. But what I notice right now with the projects on Web3, they're becoming more serious than the past projects. Like I can see projects with a better use case, a better proposition, and a better standpoint on what they're trying to do. So yeah, the evolution part, I guess the answer is yes, but it's still according to Proto, yeah, it's still hype driven as of the moment. Maybe in the longer run, that's the correct adjective for that. In the longer run, it might evolve differently, but not in the long run or the earliest future that we have. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Crypto And maybe our last set question, just a quick shot from everyone here before we move on to some quick community questions as well. So, Katie, Prof. Tov, Cryptogalog, what's more important for mainstream adoption? Better tech, stronger branding, or engaged community? Katie, what do you think?
All right. So, I think first off, all of those are extremely important. But if I have to pick one, I'm a little biased because part of the turbo. So it's definitely going to be the engaging community. That is what I've seen. Just like actually make a really good spark. Of course, you have to have some good tech, something that is safe, something that's growable, sustainable. It's easy to use. Strong branding is always important too. You have to be able to trust these people. Why is your project worth caring about? um, and but the community, that's really the glue for me, because they're going to be the ones that are going to cheer you on. As we see today, they're the ones that are going to be showing up for you, giving feedback, spreading the word of mouth, being excited, being involved. So really, I think that a lively family is really the best way to push a project from just the early buzz stage. And but of course, in the end, it is definitely a combo of having good technology, a solid brand, and of course, having a pumped up community that is going to make a mainstream successful.
Awesome. Katie, thank you. Prof. T, how about you? Better tech, stronger branding, or engaged community?
Well, I would go for engaged community, but since Katie already picked that, I would go for something else. So I'd go for stronger branding because why? Usually, stronger branding for me, basing it on Apple, it encompasses the tech, it encompasses the insights, everything, and also the community. Because if it's something they would always, go back to because it's Apple, it's premium. Well, whatever the branding or the packaging is, people go back to it because it's something they trust, and it's something that is, whether it's good or whatnot, there is something supporting it, and that's what's important about good branding. It covers everything from the community, from the product, the service, and definitely even the messaging, why people clamor for it. Yeah, that's about it.
Prof. T, thank you. And Cryptogalog, how about you? Any other take from our two other panelists? Sir, I think you are
Mute,
on.
mute, mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was saying that I see that they took the top two spots that also have in my mind. That's a challenge when you're the last one to answer. But yeah, to give you a very straightforward answer to this, better technology is important, yes, but a stronger branding, definitely yes. I like the way Prop Top did Apple there, and but at the end of the day, the better technology, the best technology, the best minds, the strong brand. Bro, top where the Apple brand is strongest, and why? It's through their community pa rin eh. It's still the community, bro. It's still the community, like you who is an Apple fanatic that will line up early in the morning, right? So it's the community is engaged. They do better technology, yes. They have a very very strong branding. I totally agree because they actually talk to the mind, encompassing the language. When they talk about their brand, they talk about something that any language understood, and that is what they're there for innovation. That's it. Yeah, we're here for innovation. We're here for technology. That's it. And then it makes the community engaged. Everything is important. Actually, the best the top one for me, so I can if I rank it, it's number one, engaged community. Number two, stronger branding. And number three, better technology. Because technology evolves. Yeah, branding evolves at the same time, but it's not as fast as technology in terms of evolution. But engaged community, it evolves, but it just remains stronger and stronger. If the community is not evolving upwards, then yeah, it's a dying it's a dying brand. Don't go there. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cryptagalog. And I guess let's move on maybe to our last segment. So let's just take some community questions, from our viewers. So shout out to everyone across all platforms. We're actually now at 1,000 viewers. So thank you so much to everyone for joining us for this evening's discussion. Hype, hype, hype. All right. So I guess I'd like to ask this question from our community member Joya for Katie. So Katie, Joya asks, so what's the long-term vision for Turbo, and how do you plan to scale it in the next few years?
All right. So the long-term vision for Turbo is definitely going to be the ecosystem, and I think the initiatives. So as far as like the ecosystem, like I explained before, the whole Aurora and making these kind of relationships and establishing actual lasting relationships, like we're doing here. This is like the main thing that we can engage and come together and give people an outlet. So I think that that is going to be really the unmatched growth potential, is just to you got to keep showing up. That's one, but also these initiatives, these community initiatives, are going to be extremely important for the long run, and in the next few years, that is going to be like the key thing, because you're going to have to show that you can continue to do this year in and year out, whether it's a red day, whether it's a green day, it doesn't matter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. And Joya, thank you for your question. You'll be getting 1,000 Turbo tokens for that. And shout out to our 1,000 viewers for the evening. So I have a question here also from the coin community. Maybe everyone can take a quick stab at this one. So, is meme coin culture just a phase, or is it a fundamental part of crypto? So maybe can have Prof Toff and Crypto Gal and then Katie to cap this one off. So Prof Toff, is meme coin culture just a phase or a fundamental part of crypto?
To answer this question, I'm hoping it's just a phase, but I think it's becoming a part of culture because even the craziest of memes really become a part of the top few names or meme coins. But hoping is this is just part of it. But for those who are actually really engaged in the memes and the fun of it, I think it would be a fundamental part if there are no more rug pulls, hopefully, like scam projects, because it's a good thing if nobody's getting rugged. But if most people are still having that negative view, it's we're not gonna make it as an industry if people are just saying the bad things about us. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Cryptogalax next.
All right, thank you, Prof. Top. Now, if it's well, I'm with you when you said that we hope it's just a phase. Yeah, me too. But apparently, I also agree that we're seeing this developing as part of the culture. It actually became a subculture now. Diba? They call themselves degens, right? They call themselves,
Yeah.
we are degens or degenerates, etc. etc. While I am not a DJ. I will not say I am, but I have a lot of friends who are. So they'll crucify me if I say that it's not a fundamental part of the of cryptocurrency right now. Because well, these degens, or the meme coin culture progenents, they're actually becoming serious now with a lot of projects. We see them becoming serious on a lot of things, a lot of their funding. With them being degens, they're having some funds left and right. So now they're also funding some serious projects, and I believe that they became already a subculture, not a culture per se of cryptocurrency and blockchain and Web3. No, there's a subculture there. It's like they have their own brand, a brand within a brand. And is it a fundamental part of crypto? I am not sure. That's yet to be seen. That's yet to be seen, because as we said, this is an evolution. It's too early for us to say it's already fundamental part of crypto, but and not all crypto are actually meme coin culture based. So I doubt if it will be fundamental, but definitely they will be significant. They are significant. Thank you.
Thank you, Crypto Galak. And Katie, how about you? Is meme coin culture just a phase, or do you think it's a fundamental part of crypto? Do you have any, other view, or what do you think?
So I do think that, just as far as having a variety of different things, there's always going to be, people who want to try to get that prefer utility coins. There's always going to be some people who like that funny, just purely meme stuff. But I think that we will start seeing an evolving type of thing. Like it may be too early, right now, but we do need to also, every time they make these rug pulls and stuff, that's definitely a negative outlook. And while many people are basically leaning on the hype of, in the beginning stage, they're showing that, they can't last. So some projects like Turbo are they're evolving by basically leveraging our community, right? We leverage the creativity. We try to add more real like utility in the ecosystem. So again, it's I think it for everybody might not be a cup of way at all. As Web3 continues to mature, I just expect to see more meme coins trying to bridge a gap and actually adding some more like value to their communities.
Awesome, Katie. Thank you so much. And Mark Jason Malikdem, thank you so much for your question. You'll also be getting 1,000 turbo tokens for your question. And I guess one more question from our FB Live for our panel. So Jacob Peterson asks, we talked about this a little bit earlier. So what are the key barriers preventing mainstream adoption of Web3 and how can meme coins help overcome them? So maybe Prof, you can share your thoughts on this question first.
Well, this was mentioned by Cryptagalog earlier. Uh, Let me just get that into. I'm losing my words, but yeah, the point here is if it's not being talked about as much or labeled as Web3, as long as we label it as Web3, people tend to shy away from it. But if it's something that has real use case that you don't even need to explain it, but it is being used, that's probably the best explanation or the best goal that we have, whatever the product is. Because if we have to define if this is a Web 2 game, a Web 3 game, damn, it's just a game, man, just play it. But if we have to always label it as 1, 2, or 3 or whatever, and even in meme coins, people will not go at it because there's that technological jargons, there's that fear of being part of something that's unofficial or legally grayed out on certain countries. There's always those things that we have to cross that gray areas for those people who are not yet into the industry. But as long as we find that key bridge that anyone can just be part of it, it's very inclusive, just like the decentralized nature of Web3, and not really talking about into the specifics and technicalities, but that's the major barrier for me. I mean, having it labeled as different from what is typical because of the technology, and it's something that not everyone can use because it's something new. And the purpose of evolution or the technology being developed is, of course, ease of access and everything else that helps human nature evolve and be a better one, be better people, or be better performing based on what is being developed. So yeah, we have to have that nature that it's being used, not be labeled as Web 2 or Web 3. If that's the best term for now, I have. Passing it on to Katie or Cryptagalog, whoever.
Yeah, Cryptagalog maybe? Yeah. And Katie. Sorry, Yanit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to move around the answer of Prof Top regarding the ease of access. You mentioned that. That's what I'm about to say and about to share about. Basically, the key barrier for mainstream adoption is the ease of access. That's basically how we should address it as developers, as builders. We need to allow ease of access for the general public. I believe that. I think we should work on that. Well, it's challenging, yes, but I believe there will be answers along the way. We're developing it. We're on our way going there. And I believe meme coins, going back to the meme coins, how do meme coins help overcome them? The ease of access, meme coining actually can help the general public have a knowledge or taste of Web3 technology that they could probably adopt by not becoming too serious about it. You get what I mean, right? So like yeah, a simple Juan or Juana or Maria in the barrio can actually just have a meme coin and make use of it, and that will help him, her, or her community be adopt Web3 and be onboarded on Web3. I think that's the best utility meme coins will have. You know, like they can, I can have a meme coin and I can exchange it for what inside the Web3's ecosystem. So yeah, that's it for me.
Tagalog, thank you. And Katie, to cap off, so yeah, what are some of the key barriers that you see are preventing that mainstream adoption, and how can meme coins and Turbo overcome that adoption barrier?
So no, he actually took the words right out of my mouth. I also think it is just the ease of access because, like I said before, there is a learning curve coming into this space. So just making it as simple as possible for people like what we call normies to be able to come in and just purchase whatever they want, whether it's XRP or Bitcoin or a meme coin or whatever. Just making it transparent and easy for them to understand what's going on is going to be, I think, number one. But also to kind of tag off of that is also you want to have something that you can trust, right? When we have this kind of ecosystem where it's just like rug pulls, a lot of people are gonna be, it's not very engaging. They're not going to want to go through that. So I think education is going to be really the best thing, as well as the ease of access. What we're doing right now, again, I appreciate you guys. Coins.ph is awesome, but getting good advice and being able to have these educated talks with the community is very extremely important. Being able to answer some questions that get thrown up because a lot of people, I guarantee there's over 1,000 people here now. Some people may not have any coins. Right? Some people may not have any assets, so they're looking to get the education. And so yeah, I think that the education, the trust, and the ease of access is pretty much like the most important things.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. I like what everyone said. So ease of access, education, and if you're part of a good community that helps you get all of that, it makes Web3 more accessible and adoptable. So that's what we're all about here on Community Wednesdays. And thank you so much to our guests. So Prof. Toff, Cryptagalog, Katie from the Turbo community. Thank you so much for joining us for this evening's episode of Community Wednesdays, where we introduce Turbo and talk more about Web3 adoption through meme coins. So I'm your host, JC Cadiz, or Jaffa, community manager for coins.ph. Shout out to the 1,170 viewers we have for tonight. Absolutely crazy how many people came and watched our stream tonight. We hope you enjoyed the discussion that we had, and do share your key takeaways from this AMA on Twitter or X, and tag Coins and tag Turbo. If you win, we'll be sending 2,000 Turbo tokens straight to your Coins wallet. So please do share with us the things you learned from this amazing panel discussion for the evening. So that's all the time that we have for tonight. I'd like to thank everyone. Thanks to the Coin community, and thanks to our guests for tuning in tonight. And we'll see you all again on another Community Wednesday episodes. So have a good evening, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. Thank you so much, and bye.